Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're looking at Emax's Tinyhawk 3 Ready to Fly kit. I'm Jeff with Titan FPV, and you're going to acquire some knowledge today. I get asked quite frequently from newcomers to the hobby, what setup do I need to start out with? A lot of times there's not a good definitive answer. Some of the previous Ready to Fly kits have been incomplete or the gear just hasn't been up to snuff. Emax just recently released their Tinyhawk 3 Ready to Fly kit, and that's what we're going to take a look at today and see if this is the beginner kit that's right for you. The camera is the RunCam Nano 4. It comes with a power switchable 25 to 200 milliwatt VTX with smart audio. For motors, we're running these Emax 0802 15,000 kV. It's running these 40 millimeter Emax Avant turtle mode props. It's running a pH 2.0 solid pin connector with an included capacitor. To secure the battery, this rubber band. The flight controller is a 5 amp ESC all-in-one board. It's rated for 1S. The frame layout is a TrueX 76 millimeter frame. All right, let's get away for you guys. Looks like the Tinyhawk itself is coming in at 31.3 grams, and with this 1S 450, 43.2 grams. So a bit heavy for a 75 millimeter whoop. This kit's coming in at $298. The drone itself is sold separately for $168 US. All right, it comes with this big Emax branded carrying case with a handle on top. Let's open it up and see what else you get in the box. It does come with this D8 and D16 compatible remote. It does have a mount, as you'll see later, mount the screen from the FPV goggles. Comes with this GoPro style mount to mount the screen to the controller. You get a charger that's capable of charging 1S or 2S packs, and you can charge those at high volt or a normal 4.2 volts per cell. It does not come with a wall wart, so you will have to provide your own, or you could charge this, plug this into a laptop or desktop computer. Comes with a hex driver to install the screen, some extra rubber bands, a screwdriver, some extra screws, a micro USB cable to charge the remote, connect the drone to Betaflight, and to charge the goggles. One 4S 450 milliamp hour HV battery, an extra set of the Avant turtle props, some Emax stickers, 2 linear whip antennas for your FPV goggles, QR code for manuals, and finally it comes with these set of FPV goggles with a detachable screen. All right, we're going to start out with the two weakest links in previous versions of the Ready to Fly kits or current Ready to Fly kits. Those are the remote and the goggles. So we'll start off with the remote first in this case. It is a D8 and D16 compatible FrSky remote. So you will be able to bind other models. I'll post a link for the manual here in the video description. You should be able to bind other craft with this. So as you grow in the hobby, you don't have to purchase a new remote immediately anyway. especially if you're going to fly more whoops. This is a D8 compatible remote. All right, so you've got these 2 position switches here on the top. This is for arming. This is for your buzzer. Actually, I believe this is for turtle mode. This is for turtle mode. This is for your buzzer. A 3-position switch. And another 3-position switch to arm the quad. By default, these are off, facing away from you. So to arm, you're going to pull towards you. These are a set of M3 threaded gimbals. So if you want to replace your stick ends, you can. In this case, I'm actually going to 3D print some for the young man who's getting this kit. So they feel pretty good in the hand. They are fairly smooth. These are by no means Hall effect gimbals. They're pots, but versus pretty much the other options there with the ready to fly kits, with the exception of a few of those more expensive kits, these gimbals feel quite nice. I was able to control the quad quite well with these sticks. So they are kind of loose. They're not bad. You do get a mounting anchor for your lanyard. It does have a power and a charge indicator. You do have a couple of trim switches here, so that's nice. I did notice one thing, that these were set a little bit off to the side here. They still centered correctly, but if you'll notice, like this one's a little towards the left as well as this one. Flying, I didn't really notice an issue there with that. I don't know if this is just a something that Emax will address here in the future, but I did want you to know that coming out of the box here. It is powered with a single 18650 lithium-ion battery that you can charge with the included micro USB cable, so you won't need a charger for that. Like I said, it has a micro USB port. I believe this is a trainer port here on the bottom as well. You do have these rubber cutaways for your mount to mount the screen there, and you'll see that here later. It's by no means a light remote, but it's pretty easy to hold in the hand. I'm a thumber. I didn't have any issues with it, but for an entry-level remote, especially with the bind and fly kits, it's one of the best, if not the best, that I've seen. On to the next issue with most ready to fly kits. We've got the goggles. These are, they have a over the head strap, which most box goggles come with these days. I didn't find a lot of adjustability with this. This is pretty much all the way out. I don't have it in a large size head, but for it to fit me, I had to move these all the way back. Now for kids, they might be more geared toward kids, and that's the reasoning behind that. So, but this is loosened all the way there. I did have some slack there on the sides. You see the nice Emax branding there. The foam is nice. It's cushiony. Didn't have any issues there with that. I do wear glasses. I'm nearsighted, and I was able to see in these clearly without any glasses. If you have smaller glasses, you might be able to fit those in. Like I said, I didn't need those. As you see, there's 3 adjustments. So actually what happens is you can pull these goggles out, and they click into place. You've got 3 different positions there with this mechanism. So they do kind of flop around just based on, like I said, the tension of the strap. They aren't heavy, and it does have an internal battery. That's nice. I would say it doesn't charge very quickly. It got me through all my flights. I've only charged it the one time, and I believe I've thrown about 15 packs through it. Not an issue there now. I don't know how the battery will last over time. You do have a recording indicator light here on the goggles. As we talked about earlier, you do have these 2 linear dipole antennas. These are not the best. I did swap out to some Foxeer right-hand circular polarized stubbies. I did notice an improvement there in the reception. I'm used to rapid fire or fusion, And this is not a diversity setup. And while it does have 2 antennas, I believe there is just one video receiver module here in this. So no unicorn magic going on with these Emax branded goggles. And another feature that has been lacking in previous ready-to-fly kits is the option for DVR recording. So as you see here, you got the auto scan, you've got your power/menu button. You do have a spot for a micro SD card. One is not included, so you'll have to provide your own. I believe it's the typical, it takes up to a 32 gig. On the other side, you've got your band, channel, and record option. I believe this is audio out. And then there's your micro USB charging port. This is secured with magnets. If you are new to the hobby, you always want a bench monitor, and you've got one with this kit off the bat. So it's attached with these 4 magnets, but as I stated, you could fly through this mounted on your remote if you want to be more aware of your surroundings. This is a 16:9 monitor, 800 by 600, I think. It's definitely not HD. As you can see, it's telling the signal strength, channel, band, frequency, and there is your battery indicator there. Now this is running on race band 8. I set that up. I fly all my quads on race 8 because there's less Wi-Fi interference, but you will have to unlock your VTX. By default, I believe it comes on race 4, and certain channels are blocked out. The VTX is locked from the factory, but you can unlock your VTX simply by holding down the VTX button and plugging in a LiPo for 10 seconds. So hold that down, power it on, and that will unlock your VTX. Then you'll have access to the full range of channels, and your VTX will go up to 200 milliwatts. By default, it's limited to 25 milliwatts. It does have smart audio. Like I said, this is a 16:9 image. It is stretched. This is a 4:3 camera, but the DVR records in 4:3 as well. So not exactly what you'll see. It's not a problem flying through that though, but we'll plug a LiPo in and you can see what I'm talking about. It is running Betaflight 4.2.9. But yeah, it's a good looking image. Like I said, I'm on race 8, 200 milliwatts. Can't complain. You are going to get breakup if you fly behind anything. If you're familiar with the original Tinyhawk, that was only 25 milliwatt. It's kind of the same experience. But I did fly this on my HDO2s with Fusion, and I didn't have any issues there or dropouts. You can scroll down. It does have an option for record time. I think it's recording in 3-minute intervals. I even disabled this, and I think it was still doing that for DVR. Do be aware it doesn't really start and stop traditionally, like it's going to break up your recordings into 3-minute intervals. I have to get back with Emax on that to see if that's something that they can address here, maybe a firmware update. But you have your normal adjustments for brightness, contrast, so on and so forth there. All right, this is the other configuration that you can use the goggles with. You separate the display from the goggles. It comes with this GoPro style mount that mounts into the back of the controller. And it's got a screw that goes all the way through. And then you have this GoPro style mount on the top. And you can fly from, with the monitor attached. So that's another way. I don't really fly with the screen. I find it easier to use the goggles. But if flying with the goggles gives you motion sickness, this may be a way that you can, that might work better for you. You can also see your surroundings while you're flying. Also, if you just want to use this as a bench monitor, you can detach it as well. The quad itself is running the Runcam Nano 4. It's a lightweight, nano-sized camera. I don't know how many TV lines, but it definitely looks good. It does have an improved lens over the Runcam Nano 3. I wasn't getting any vibrations. Tinyhawk 2, I believe, has the Runcam 2. So it is higher resolution than the Runcam 2. So that's a definite improvement. It does have adjustable camera angle. For beginners, you're going to want to fly with almost zero camera tilt because you're going to be flying slow. You tend to fly faster the more angle you get. But if you're new to the hobby, I recommend flying with less camera tilt. Probably fly in stability mode and then work your way up to angle mode, which will allow you more tilt, but the drone is still going to self-level. And then finally into acro mode, where you stabilize the drone itself. It will not auto-right itself. It does feel like a sturdy frame. This is a new design from the Tinyhawk 2. It's a TrueX frame. I believe the Tinyhawk 2 was a StretchX. So this is supposed to be more stable. Feels good, good quality. As you see, the USB port is accessible from the top. The VTX is mounted on top as well. It does have a dipole antenna that's soldered directly to the board. So unless you're comfortable with soldering there, you want to put a micro axis on that. I would just leave it as is. The motors are 0802 15,000 kV. So I feel like that's kind of low kV for a 1S drone. Happy Models Mobula 7, that's a 1S or a 2S drone. Is running 0802 16,000 kV motors. It's definitely not a rocket, but if you're new, it will get the job done. This is more suited for indoor flying, but if you're out on a non-windy day, you can definitely fly it outside in a close space. I wouldn't take it out too far because it is running FrSky D8, and you're not going to get a ton of range like you would with Express LRS. Like I said, this is the Emax's familiar 450 milliamp hour 1S. Inside I was getting, I believe, easy over 4 minutes, close to 5 minutes, just kind of cruising around. Outside, I was getting anywhere from 3.5 to maybe 4 minutes. I don't believe this is flashed with RPM filtering compatible ESC firmware or bidirectional D-shot, I'm sorry. So that's something in the future, if you want to improve your flight times or efficiency, you could possibly update that. But if you're new, always, if you're new, keep your settings stock. The rates on this, they were kind of slow. It does have 3 rate profiles, but I ended up adding my own rates. I felt like it had a lot of expo, but I think the rates were just really slow there. It does feel locked in. It does feel like the tune's good. I've seen a few other reviews, and I believe they said that the tune needed some work. Looks like Emax may have addressed those issues. But frame looks durable. It is in the pusher configuration. Most quads, the props are mounted on the top. These, they're actually mounted facing towards the bottom there. So if you're new, you may not be familiar with this. But the battery is going to elevate it above the ground there. I didn't notice any drift out of the box. It is already bound up to the remote, and it is on the correct channel for your radio, so you won't have to go searching for those. All right, as you see, it's running Betaflight 4.2.9. Looks like we have smart audio set up on UR2. It's running 8K, 4K. I haven't changed any of these settings, guys. These are the default settings. Maximum arm angle is set to 60 degrees, so that might be something that I would update to 180. You got RX set to beep. Air mode is turned on. Alright, it is set to 4.4 volts for maximum cell voltage, so it is set to run an HV battery, so that's good. Failsafe set to drop. These are the PIDs. And I did add my own rates here in profile 3. The stock rates looks like 600 degrees per second. There's a little bit of expo. These just felt really slow to me. I generally run about 1,000 degrees per second. And then you have rate profile 2. These are even slower, but I believe I was on rate profile 1 the first few flights. It could have been rate profile 2. Like I said, I did feel like I had a lot of expo. And then these are my rates that I updated there on profile 3. As you see, they're much faster there. Filter settings here. All right, let's go into receiver tab. FR D. I believe the internal SPI receiver is capable of running D16 mode as well, but you'll probably get fail-safe, so that's safe to set it to D8 mode. The channel order is TAER. For the modes, you see aux1 set to arm, and then aux2 you have for angle and horizon mode, and then off is going to be acro or air mode. Buzzer set to aux3, and we do have flip over or turtle mode set on aux3. Motors tab, it's running D-Shot 600, running props in. RPM filtering or bidirectional D-Shot is not enabled. Here's your OSD settings. And your VTX table. Like I said, mine came locked to race band 4. It is locked out of the box. All in all, it's a great starter kit. Emax has listened to us, the things that we stated that were issues there with the previous offerings. They have resolved, like the remote and the lack of DVR for the goggles there. Only one thing I can suggest is Emax, we need an Express LRS SPI receiver on the next Tinyhawk. Do that, and it'll be next to perfect, especially for beginners. Like I said, this kit's coming in at $298, so it's a bit steep. I believe the previous offerings were about $229. The price did go up, but the cost of chips has gone up as well, so just our hobby in general has gotten more expensive over the last couple years. I picked this one up at Pyrodrone. Shout out to Serge at Pyrodrone. Got it here in a couple days. If you haven't already checked them out, they're on the West Coast. They offer great customer service and great shipping. Definitely give them a shout and pick your kit up there. I hope this video was informative, guys. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Give this video a thumbs up. Click that notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next one.